Another reason why I left the church, religion, Christianity, and fundamentalism is that the church supports parents erasing queer topics with kids. Now you're going to say, didn't we already talk about this? No, we talked about churches teaching queer erasure. We're now going to talk about parents who erase topics of non-heteroconformity to their kids. Why? Why do parents refuse to allow their kids access to vital information, knowledge, and acceptance? Because they were first taught by the church. Parents who haven't been indoctrinated with traditional gender roles, sexuality, and godly marriage are seldom going to keep their kids from learning about non-traditional things. It still happens. But when you're raised in an environment where you are bombarded with anti-queer rhetoric, conditioning, brainwashing, you probably double your chances of teaching your own kids and having no tolerance for anything but your religion. So without the church indoctrinating children who later become parents and then in turn protect their kids by keeping information that could save their lives or teach them to be an accepting, non-phobic person, they rely on what they were taught by the church. We call it conditioning. It's cause and effect. So for parents who want to keep their kids from learning about the realities of life, don't have kids. If you don't want your kids to be exposed to every type of lifestyle, whether it's legal or not, don't have kids. If you don't want kids to find out about pornography, sex, orientation, attraction, don't have kids. It's negligence to not teach your kids how to protect themselves, how to have safe sex, how to navigate the tempestuous waters of prepubescent or teenage years. My parents never talked about anything beyond how bodies change in puberty. I never had a safe sex talk, never had a sex talks, period. I was 19 before I read a book from a Christian curriculum for Bible study that even mentioned an STI. But it was always focused on abstinence, never condoms. So when parents say, I don't want to approve this, I don't want my kids exposed to it, someone will expose it to your child. You need to be the one that talks about it first, and you need to create a safe spot for your child. Do not be a helicopter parent and just not talk about it, period. So to parents who want to hide their kids, I will say this. You want to shove those words back in and put the lid on. Not teaching your kids about the vitals of being different, because not everyone is heterosexual. But you can't. Your child isn't heterosexual. This goes against everything you've been taught by the church and everything you believe. It's not what you had in mind. It's not maybe what you want for your child. And you instantly wonder, where did you go wrong? You didn't. Because the belief that a child has gone wrong because they're not going to have a wife or children or the picture-perfect American dream is the problem. For many Christian parents, nothing prepares them to hear that their beloved child is gay or bi or trans. This is the child you have cradled fed, clothed, hugged, and tucked into bed. You can't get your mind around it because you grew up and you live in an environment where you have no control over your bodily autonomy. Sit down with your kids and talk about the realities of life. Racism, sexism, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia. Even if they're a straight kid. If you don't tell and talk to kids about the dangers of erasing people, then you're part of the problem. If you don't say anything to your kids about homosexual people, you're part of the problem. Kids are going to be educated. You need to decide if they're going to get educated from you or from their ignorant peers. And how your kid functions within their own orientation is not about you. Orientation isn't news to your child. Trust me, they've seen it somewhere. You have to embrace your child. You have to teach them. Children are afraid to talk to their parents about life-threatening reasons or topics. But if parents had a simple talk about smoking, 93% of child smokers wouldn't be smoking. If parents had safe sex talks in a free, unjudging atmosphere, 90% of teen pregnancies would never occur. You can't pray it away, you can't wish it away, and you can't believe it away. And you shouldn't want to. Your child is perfect the way they are. And any environment that makes you want to pray it away, you need to look in the mirror and find out if maybe this is a toxic environment. A lot of parents don't want these things in their home. But what they don't realize is if you don't talk about these things, you're letting something else in your home, and it's called intolerance. You're creating an environment where transphobia, biphobia, homophobia is a reality. If you believe that anything but being straight is socially acceptable, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're homophobic. 93% of kids who attempt suicide would never be attempting it if their kid educated their child properly, got them the help they needed, and helped them navigate the